Hey everybody, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts. Today we're going to make a wreath using this. I'm trying to get the reflection off. Really awesome sign. It's country western cowboy cowgirl theme. It's got bandana blue and red print around the outside with the cowboy hat at the bottom. And then there's rope, lasso rope intertwined in the sign. And up the top here we have a red gingham bow. This is a metal sign. And I got this from Etsy, and the shop is Personalize It by Pam. So if you're interested in this, you can find it on there on Etsy. If you need help, leave me a comment and I will provide you with a link on where you can find the sign. Then to pair up with our sign, I have chosen to go with a burgundy because the reds are darker in our sign. So I've chosen to go with a burgundy mesh base. Got this mesh at bbcrafts.com, and then I'm going to pair that up with this blue and brown. It's like a navy blue and brown check mesh, and this came from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to use this on our top layer. We're going to use only the burgundy to complete our base. Each of the pieces of mesh will be cut to between 16 to 17 inches is what I'm using on my design. That will give us an overall wreath size of about 24, 25 inches, and the depth will end up being about 5 to 6 inches. So we'll go ahead. I've started for us to save us some time. I went ahead and did the mesh on the bottom row, except I left a couple pieces here just to show you how I do that. And then I've also started the ribbon tails on the first layer, but we'll finish up this section here to show you how I did those. So let's go ahead and put the two pieces of mesh for the bottom row that we have in. We're doing the Cruffle method, which is we're going to make 2 curls, one on each end, and then crunch it and ruffle it in the middle. So we start by folding it over. 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually do 4, and I like to do that because I want to keep my cut edge tucked underneath really well. The mesh tends to fray, so if we can keep those cut edges protected, that prevents fraying. Turn it around so that the clip is facing away from you, that's holding your first curl. Make your curl the exact same way on the other end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when I do my ruffle part, I flip it over so the 2 curls are face down, and then just scrunch small sections at a time in the middle using your fingers to work the mesh together. Pinch the 2 ends together and then remove your clip. You end up with a little bow. Now when we put this into our design, on this bottom row, we're going to put the finished edge to the outside and the inside this time. Make sure you squeeze pretty tight. You don't want your mesh slipping or sliding around. Give it a couple twists. Make sure your pieces to the right are pulled out and up over top of the ones you're placing in now. Now we'll do it one more time on the bottom row and we will have that completed. Before I do that, let me show you the back. I have wired the frame. It's probably kind of hard to see because I used brown pipe cleaners to match my ribbon and mesh. But I have 12 pipe cleaners on the outside 2 rings. This is a Dollar Tree frame. So it's 14 inches wide and it has 4 rings. So on the outside 2 rings, I have 12, and on the inside 2 rings, I have 6. If you want to see how to wire the frame with your pipe cleaners, I do cover that in some of my other videos if you want to check those out. Okay. And then I always try to do a pipe cleaner color that will mesh and blend well with my overall design so that they don't stand out. If we used purple or green on this, some of that would show through, and we don't want that. So just do the same way, 2 curls, 1 on each end. Turn it over with the curls face down. Scrunch in the middle, small sections at a time, pulling that mesh together. Pinch the 2 sides together and take your clip off, putting it in finished edges to the inside and outside of your wreath form. Pull it really tight and give it a couple twists. And then make sure the piece of mesh to the right, when you're laying in your last piece on the bottom layer, make sure you pull this piece to the right out over top of the piece that you just put in. So that way all of your mesh is laying in there consistently all the way around. Okay, and then for the ribbon tails, I have selected this really awesome pattern that has, you know, a horse and a cowboy boot, horseshoe. It has the bandana print. It's a block style, so like every, you know, every several squares it has the bandana print and a cowboy hat. So I thought that matched very well, not only with the cowboy hats and the robe theme, but also with the bandana print around the outside of the sign. And so then to go with that, I also found this amazing bandana print ribbon. So we're going to also use that one. And then for my 2 ribbons to pair up with this, I went with the red gingham check to match the bow on the sign. So we're going to use that one. And then I used this black and it's probably beige or natural. I think that color is actual natural. It's a little darker than beige. And I chose that because it goes well with the black hat and then the robe border around the edges of the sign. So those are going to be our 4 ribbons, and that's how I chose which ones to use. Okay. Now for this, for the entire wreath, you are going to need to cut your ribbons to 12 inches long, and you will need 8 of each ribbon pattern that you're using. So we need 8 of this one, 8 of this one, 8 of this one, and 8 of this one. Or I'm sorry, 6 of this one and 6 of this one. 8 of these 2. Okay. I think I told you wrong again. 8 of these 2, 9 of this one. Sorry. You're going to need 9 each of your main pattern ribbons, and then 8 of the 2 that we're using to match up with those. So 9 12-inch pieces of these 2, 8 12-inch pieces of these 2. Okay. And then for the base, I took 2 of each of these and cut them in half. 3 of each of those and cut them in half to give me 6 6-inch pieces for the bottom. So on the bottom, we're going to take 3 of these 12-inch ribbons and cut them in half. No, I've said it right the first time. 2, because we need, well, we need 6 of each, so it's 3. 3 of these, cut it in half to give us 6 6-inch pieces, and then 3 of these cut in half to give us 6 6-inch pieces. Boy, I sure made that confusing. I probably need to start writing this down before the lines. So I'm going to start off showing you how we're going to input the 6-inch pieces. It's one thing to do it, it's another thing to explain it, I guess. Okay, so I've started the base here, and what I did was I just rotated those 6-inch pieces every other one. So here we have the black and natural 6-inch, here we have the red gingham 6-inch, black and natural 6-inch, red gingham 6-inch, all the way around. Just continue to rotate. So first we'll finish that off over here with our 6-inch pieces. We last put in the red gingham, so now we're going to do the black. Give that a good pull and twist it. Fluff out our ribbon. Now when you place in these 6-inch pieces, you want them to just come straight out in the middle of your piece of mesh that you're placing it on top of. Now we do our red gingham. And then on these 6-inch pieces, you're only going to dovetail one end. And then the end that I'm scrunching is the straight edge, the edge that we did not dovetail. So it would look like this, straight on one side, dovetailed on the other side. This is the end that's going to come to the outside of your wreath. So you're going to want to scrunch on the straight edge. Fluff your ribbon to get it to lay the way you want. Kind of curl your ends out so it's fluffing out and under. And then our last one is the red gingham. And then we'll go back and lay in our 12-inch pieces with our patterns. Now when I was choosing to match up the ribbons, which ones I was going to put with which, I chose to put the cowboy print one with the red gingham because I felt like the red bandana with the red gingham was too much red. And then I put the red bandana print or paisley print with the black and natural. So that's what we're going to do. We've last done the cowboy print. So we're going to do the bandana print next. The way we put in our ribbon tails on the bottom layer is we just lay our ribbon out flat, find our center, scrunch up the middle, pinch it together, and V that back towards us, lining up these edges down here. So it will look like this. And then we just place that in so that it V's around our 6-inch piece that we put in. And that way we'll see all of our different designs and colors that we're adding with the ribbon. Now once I put this piece in, I'm not going to add anything else to the pipe cleaners. So we're ready to snip it off. And then I just push the little piece left on there down and give it a pinch to secure my ribbon. I tried to load my comments, I forgot to do that. Give me just a second. Okay, well, my computer's thinking, so we'll keep working while it thinks. We did that one last, so now we're back to the cowboy print. Give it 3 or 4 twists to make sure it holds good. Cut off the extra. And again, push that little piece down inside and give it a squeeze. Fluff out our ribbon tails, and we just do this all the way around. Now right now we're only working on the 12 pipe cleaners on those outside 2 rings. We've not done anything with the 6 pipe cleaners on the inside yet. I found the video. Okay, so next is the bandana print. Hi Laura, hey Marley, how are you guys? We're just being back, making sure that we're lining up these 2 edges so that it's even. Placing it in the same way. We want it to be on each side of the 6-inch piece of ribbon we put in there. So all of our pretty colors and designs and patterns will show. Back to this cowboy. I love, love, love this ribbon. I think it's awesome. Both of these print ribbons, actually all 4 of these ribbons that I'm using today came from Craft Outlet. And if you decide that you want to make this wreath, one really cool thing about that is Craft Outlet, if you spend $69 or more, you get free shipping. So that's a nice little bonus. And then they also have a reward system where you can earn points with your purchases and get money off of your future orders, which if you order as much as I do, it's very beneficial. That's why I do a lot of my ordering with Craft Outlet. I also love their quality and the huge selection of designs that they have. Okay, so now we have all the way around. We have completed our ribbons, so now we have put ribbons in all 12 of those outside pipe cleaners as well as our first layer of mesh. And then now we're going to start working on these inside 6 pipe cleaners. But to do that, we need to reach in between the mesh here and pull those pipe cleaners to the outside. Do that all the way around. And this is where we're going to come in with our blue and natural mesh that came from Hobby Lobby. If you're purchasing from Hobby Lobby, never pay full price. They frequently put their mesh and florals and things on sale for half off. So I think they do that every other week. So make sure you're trying to catch those items when they have their sales. Okay, so I have all 6 out. Pulling these apart. Hi Joyce, how are you? Thanks for watching. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to explain. We're doing cruffles for the second row as well, and we're doing those the same way as the first. We're going to do a curl on each end, so we're going to fold it over. And this has checks, so it's easy to keep it straight. You can just keep those lines and follow those. So we're going to fold it over and then do 2, 3, 4. To make sure our finished cut or our unfinished cut edges are tucked underneath nicely so they don't fray. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, turn it over, scrunch down the middle, and then we have a bow. Now this time when we do the 6 pipe cleaners from the inside 2 rings, instead of placing with the finished edges to the outside and inside, we're going to turn that and place them with the finished edges to the right and the left. That gives us more coverage on our wreath base and ensures that you're not going to be able to see through to that wire frame with your finished design. With 6 pieces of mesh around all of those 6 pipe cleaners. These pieces are also cut to 16 to 17 inches long. Okay, put that in. When you put your the second layer of mesh in, don't pull it too tight. Because you don't want to sink it clear through to the bottom of your mesh. We're building up and creating, the thickness of our wreath. We don't want to flatten it by pulling it all down in too tight. And then I also, when I lay in these top pieces of mesh, I just kind of try to line up the edges so they touch each other there, and they look like little bows all the way around. Turn it over face down. Scrunch little pieces at a time in the middle to give us that ruffled effect. Pinch the 2 sides together and take your clip off. Keep a hold of it so you have your little bow in your hand, and just place it in to your next pipe cleaner. Adjust your bow so you like the way it looks and lays, and line up the edges. We got 3 more of these. I hope to be back on later today, not today, tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a watermelon wreath, a summertime wreath, so that's kind of exciting. If you're interested in learning how to make one of those, we're going to use a large slice of watermelon, a sign that looks like a slice of watermelon. And if you haven't already entered my giveaway, I'm doing a giveaway. The drawing will be on February 10th, and I'm giving away Valentine's gift baskets and sets. You can find that on my page, karlaskleverkrafts, on Facebook, all spelled with a K. If you can't find it, leave me a comment on here, and I will send you the link to it. If you like my videos, please help me continue to be able to do this by sharing and liking them. And if you're not already following me, follow my page on Facebook. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell, and you'll receive alerts whenever I upload new videos. And this mesh will stick together. It's very good quality though. You just kind of pull it apart. It doesn't really tear it up. Just pull it apart and make it lay and do what you want it to do. Lay the way you want it to lay. Okay. One more. And then we'll be ready to do our second layer of ribbon. Then I have, I think I have a couple Valentine's Day wreaths that I have sold in my Etsy shop that I'm going to need to make. Still selling those Valentine's Day wreaths. So I'm going to probably be, in the next couple days, also hopping on here and doing lives to show how I make those. I figure if I have to make them anyway, I might as well share with everybody how I do it. Showing the different designs and stuff too. And so there's what it looks like when we put in our second layer of mesh. It's pretty full already. Can't really see to the wire anymore. Okay, and now we're going to come in with our last pieces of ribbon. At this point, for this top layer, you should have 3 12-inch pieces of each design. So we have 4 different designs, 3 of each of those. Okay. And we're going to keep our pattern the same. So we matched up the red gingham with the cowboy print, or cowgirl, I guess it could be. And to put these pieces, we're not going to V them back towards us like we were doing. We're going to make an X, and we're going to scrunch from this point to this point. So right down the middle, scrunch it together, pinch the 2 sides together. You should have an X that looks like that, and you're going to place it in the pipe cleaner exactly the way that you're holding it. Give it a couple good twists. We're not going to add anything else into this pipe cleaner, so I'm going to go ahead and cut them off and push them down as I go. Same way we did on the bottom. If anybody has any questions, you know, whether you're watching live or replay later, put them in the comments. I check back frequently, and I will answer you. You're also welcome to message me anytime. And if you're watching on replay, please comment #replay so that I know who has watched. It gives me an idea of what kind of videos I should do in the future. So now we're doing the bandana with the black and the natural check. Same way, make an X, scrunch up the middle, pinch the 2 sides together, keeping a hold in the middle so that you keep your X. Place it down in the pipe cleaner exactly like you're holding it. Give it a few twists, 3 or 4. Clip off the extra, and then push it down in and give it a squeeze. fluff out your ribbons so they lay the one way you want them to. I usually push mine up in the middle here and then have it coming up and kind of curl the end under. Of course, you know, that's, you can do that part any way you want to, whatever, you know, looks good to you. Now we need the gingham and the cowboy print. We're just going to repeat the same process, alternating our pattern all the way around these 6 sections on the top. When we get these done, then we'll add the sign. And this is a metal sign that I'm working with today. Like a lot of my videos, I've been working with wood signs, but this one is metal. It is absolutely adorable. One's wanting to twist on me and not lay the way I want. So just when it does that to you, just keep working with it till you get it how you want it. We're back to the gingham and the cowboy. Go ahead and get my glue gun warming up because we're going to use that here in just a little bit. Okay. This is our last one. And then we'll be ready to put our sign on. We're going to put our sign right in the middle there where you see the opening. And you can add whatever you want to these wreaths. Just because I stop where I do doesn't mean you have to. You could add embellishments. You can find cute little Western theme embellishments. I've seen the little horseshoes. I've seen the little cowboy hats and boots. I even seen boots the other day. I think Craft Outlet had some of that stuff. You could look on there if you wanted to add some additional embellishments other than what I'm doing. You could also use your ribbon that's left over on your rolls and make you a great big bow and put on the side or the bottom or the top. And then you don't have to put your sign in the middle. For example, if you wanted to put, say, a big bow right here and have a big, full, fluffy bow, you could offset your sign a little bit to make room for your bow to flow over there onto the front of your wreath. All kinds of options. But for this design, I'm going to just put my sign in the middle of this mesh. I'm going to have these pieces, 6 pieces that I added to the top, kind of framing around the sign. But we don't want to put the sign down in so far that we sink it to the back. We want it kind of floating on the top there with this just framing around it. Okay, to attach the sign, I've already cut the holes, but I used my metal hole punch. Got this at Amazon. anybody's interested in that, let me know and I can send you the link to those particular ones. I ordered one set that were made partially of plastic. They broke on me in like less than 2 months. So when I ordered again, I went with these all metal ones, and I've been very, very happy with these. I've been using these quite a while now. They don't seem to be in any danger of breaking. So the wire that I'm using is from the Dollar Tree. It's 26 gauge floral wire, and I'm going to cut my pieces of wire about 12 to 14 inches. If you've watched my videos before, you know I cut these extra long, but that's because it makes me easier for me to work down through all of the mesh and ribbon that we have to go through to get to the base of the sign, or the base of the wreath. Because we're going to attach this wire to that metal wreath form that we started out with. When I punched my holes, I did one at the top and one at the bottom. I'm pretty sure that Personalize It by Pam, who I got this sign from, I think she offers an option where you can get it to come with the holes pre-punched. I like to do my own because I use this hole punch, and the hole is literally so small that you can barely tell I've put a hole in there. I like that as opposed to the bigger holes. So I order mine without holes, but I'm pretty sure she does offer that option if you want her to put the holes for you. So then we're just going to take one piece of our wire, go through the top hole, put the sign face down, and bring the two edges of our wire to even them up. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Then when we twist this, make sure you're doing the crisscross in the back across the hole that you made here in the sign. And when you twist your knot to twist your wire onto the sign, twist over top of that hole. Doing that gives you additional security to keep your sign from flopping around and moving around if you keep that over the back. And I'm just going to pinch that wire to keep it tight. And then on the bottom hole, we're just going to do the exact same thing. I'll show you on the back, maybe you can see the size of that hole a little bit better. I'm not sure with the light reflection. But it's a very small hole as opposed to the bigger holes that you might get if you have it pre-punched for you. Okay. Same thing, line up the ends of our wire, crisscross it across the top of the hole that we made, and then twist, keeping it pulled tight and keeping the knot that we're making over top of that hole. Give it several good twists, 4 or 5. And now we're ready to put it back in the wreath. Get it positioned the way that I want before I start fastening it down. Out of my way. Okay, that looks pretty good. It looks like all my pieces of mesh are up, framing around it. So then I'm going to come up here where the top is and find my 2 pieces of wire. And I'm just going to work those down through, around, and in between all that mesh and ribbon until I get to the wire frame underneath. And I'm going to wrap around the inner 2 rings on the wreath form. In the beginning I showed you there are 4 rings. We're going around those 2 inside rings. Okay, and I'm going to tighten it to make it secure, but I'm not going to pull this so tight that I sink my sign down into my wreath too far. We don't want to lose that beautiful sign. And then when I twist in the back here, I do about 10 or 15 times. It's probably overkill. Probably don't have to do that many times. I just like to make sure that my sign is not going to come off or come loose. Now, because as I told you, I cut my pieces of wire really long to make it easier for me to work it through there, I'm just going to cut off this excess, and then I'm going to take the piece that's there and wrap it around this inner ring here on the inside, pushing the end of it up inside the wreath so that it doesn't poke anybody or scratch anybody's door. Just wrapping it around and around and around that ring until I get to the end and I can push that end upward. Okay, now we have it smooth. We'll turn around here and do the exact same process at the bottom. making sure that our sign is straight and positioned the way we want it to be, keeping our pieces of mesh that we don't want meshed underneath out. Going around the inner 2 rings again. And then I'm going to try to make sure that I pull it the same amount of tightness down here at the bottom as I did at the top, so the sign lays even. And then twist 10 or 15 times, or however many you prefer. I think there's any rhyme or reason to the number of times, just as long as you're sure your sign is not going to come loose. Cut off the excess wire. Wrap it around that inside ring so you push that sharp edge up inside of your wreath design. Okay, and that's what it looks like. And then we have one more finishing touch for this beauty. Hey Ida, oh, I'm glad you like it, thank you. I'm going to do 6 of these little lasso rope bows in each of these 6 sections on the top. And the way I did those is I bought this rope at the Dollar Tree. Let's see, I think I've got one here I haven't opened. Yes. It is 9.5 feet long and it's decorative nautical rope. So this is what I'm using to make these little bows. And then I've already made the 6 for this wreath, but I did bring a piece to just kind of show you. I just kind of make a loop and cross it over there, get it to about the size I want it to be, and then I just come back around, I twist this up, and come back around and make a loop on the other side. And then you just kind of have to play with the rope until you get your loops even, your tails the length that you want. And so that's how I do that. And then I take a piece of that floral wire that we use to attach the sign, and I just wrap it around the center of that, twist it in the back really tight, and then just poke the end piece of the wire up inside of the rope. So that's how we made these little bows. And I'm just going to hot glue those, 1 in each section. So I'm going to put my glue down using a liberal amount. That might have been too liberal, and my glue's too hot. And I'm going to get my fingertip protectors because you see that big red mark? I stuck my finger to my glue pot the other day on a live video. So you can watch that for your viewing pleasure if you want to see that. It hurt. It still hurts. That was a lesson on what not to do when you're designing wreaths. Okay, so now we're just come over here. We'll get our next one. I went ahead and turned my glue gun down or off so it'll cool down some. And I'm just pushing these in there and holding down on them to let that glue start cooling off and setting up. Had an extra piece of glue there, so I just pulled that off and tossed it in my glue pot. And this part goes pretty quick. It doesn't take long to just dab some glue in there and get them to start setting up. And I'm just doing them all facing the same way, all the way around. Got some glue on the table underneath, so I'm going to clean that up real quick. This is a plastic table, no mat or anything on it, so it cleans up nicely for all the messes I make. These fingertip protectors that I'm using for the hot glue came from the Dollar Tree. You get a pack of 3 or 4. if they still have them. I bought mine a while ago. Hopefully they still have them. They're very handy. I'd actually like to pick up another pack because I misplaced one of mine. Okay guys, that is it for this one. This is what our final result looks like. If you like my videos, make sure you follow or subscribe depending on if you're on Facebook or YouTube. I do have multiple videos out there now, even though I've still only been doing this a couple weeks. I have some Easter designs, summer designs, Valentine's Day. Now I have this country western, some bumblebee gnome. I think I did a bumblebee gnome design, and St. Patrick's Day. So be sure and go check out all of those. And thank you guys so much for supporting and watching me and helping me to grow my page and my channel. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.